Of course, I mentioned about this last week. For those of you who are new to the show or tuning in for the first time here as well, I've been getting harassed by this guy who calls himself the Bastard. And, last week, of course, I told the story about how he'd posted an advert on Gumtree in London. And this advert was basically telling people I was giving away 1,000 DVDs and videos for free. I was giving away a fucking BMW. Oh, sorry, I was selling one for cheap, sorry. And I was also selling an Xbox 360, allegedly. It's okay, fine, that's fine, away it goes. So, now, as I explained last week, I had nothing but phone calls for, 2-3 days. Phone calls, messages. I kid you not, there was over 200 phone calls at least in total. I've lost count of the messages. Now, in last week's show, of course, I read out a few replies to some of the text messages. I've had even more messages since then. Now, you'd think with the advert now being gone, people would stop messaging me. Yeah. These are people who must be, saving the fucking number, thinking I'll get to them eventually, who are now only messaging me this last week, you see. Now, these messages came through on, I would say, between kind of Tuesday onwards. The last one came, I think, on Thursday. So, since then, thankfully, it stopped. But I did have to reply to a few of them because, they were crackers. And I've got them written down here. The first one I got was a text message. And it says, "Hi, can you ship car abroad, please, thank you?" So, I reply.
Of course.
"Why, certainly. That should prove no problem at all. It will, however, depend on which way the wind is blowing, as once the bastard's up in the air, I have no control in which direction it travels. I've taken inspiration from the Disney film Up, and will be attaching 6,000 helium balloons to the car. Can I recommend you get an air rifle for when it reaches you to pop the balloons one by one, slowly bringing the car to Earth? Obviously, the cost of said helium and balloons shall be added to the cost of the car. Hope this is okay." I get a reply. "You should not make fun like this. Who do you think you are? I made genuine request." I replied, "What you did is make a genuine mistake, my friend. You see, I work for Interpol, and you've been contacting a number used for the crackdown on international theft of automobiles, where the buyer asks for the vehicle to be shipped and then never sends payment. Investigative officers will be at your door very soon. Please comply with all requests and be prepared for a cavity search. Should you have any more queries or statements to make, feel free to message me at my number. My name is Chief Inspector Clouseau." Now, you think this would blow the deal, you see. You think, but no. He replies again. "I am not a thief, capital letters. Do not send police to my home." I replied, "I hate to be accused of being a doubting Thomas, but just as a precaution, could you make sure to keep your passport handy, as you may have to be extradited to the UK to face criminal charges."
Can I ask a quick question there?
Yes.
Is the person that is interested in this, is it Borat? Because there's a touch of, "Is it my wife?"
It's nice.
It is nice. So
it's like a bear shitting in the woods.
So they again reply back, "I have moved home. I won't be at that address. Do not do this stupid thing." So I reply, I must inform you that under Section 8 of the Interpol Policing Act, subsection DHB, it clearly states that it is a criminal act to call any Interpol act stupid. This, sadly, is one more charge I must add to the list currently against you. Might I suggest you stop complaining and start complying? My colleagues tell me they're only 1 hour from your address. Should they be denied entry, they are allowed to use battering rams and tear gas. Have a nice day." And I've never had a reply since then. So, the day after, I get a message saying, "I will have your DVDs and videos sent to me." So, I replied, "Brilliant. I am glad to get them off my hands. I can send them to you no bother at all, but I need you to be clear on the contents first before I ship, as Gumtree didn't post my advert in full. The near 1,000 DVDs listed are all video recordings of me masturbating. sometimes in costumes, and to various different movie soundtracks. In particular, I think you'll enjoy seeing me dress as a raccoon, violently jacking it off to the closing bars of the theme song from Titanic. Or another.
Did you say you were dressed up as Charlie Murphy?
Charlie Murphy, a raccoon. Or another favourite of mine. I dress like Popeye and rip the spinach, while in the background you'll hear the rather lovely soundtrack to Marley and Me. I hope you'll enjoy these DVDs as much as I enjoyed making them. So
if Marley and Me is playing, does that mean that Milo's in the background crying and holding his fucking arse?
So they reply, "You sick fuck. I hope you get AIDS, you fucking sicko." So
off the arse.
So of course I reply, "That is a horrible thing to say. For that hurtful comment, I won't be sending you my special commemorative edition of Sasquatch Wanks to the soundtrack of Harry and the Hendersons. You're lost, mister." So they reply, "I'm calling the police." I put them back saying, "Oh, now, if you like the police, I do have one video of myself dressed like Juliet Bravo."
Fucking Hattie Jakes becomes the police.
Jacking off to the song "So Lonely" by the well-known band The Police. This, interestingly enough, is also on the soundtrack for the darling film Just Go With It, starring Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston. Say the word, my friend, and it's yours. So that was it. No more communication after that whatsoever. And the last one I replied to was one that said, "I want your 360. How much to post to Dundee?" So, of course, I replied, "Yeah, no problem. I can ship to Dundee. One thing, though, I forgot to mention in the advert that the 360 was slightly burned in a house fire that killed my parents. Don't worry, I hated the bastards anyway. And between us, I started the fire. To get away from the sex parties that they made me dance in, performing in front of their naked middle-aged friends before being passed around like currency between them. The Xbox..."
It's broken.
The Xbox belonged to my father, and I've cleaned out most of the piss that I fired all over it when it survived the blaze that consumed him. I think it still works, but if not, it should still be under warranty from Microsoft. All the best." So I get one back saying, "You need help, you sick fuck." So I replied, "You think? Nah, I'm perfectly normal. In fact, I've never felt better. And let me tell you, the wank that I had while the fire sprayed the top floor of the building couldn't have been sweeter. I live in a hostelage now, and the 360 is just taking up room. Where should I ship it to?" And I get a reply saying, "I don't want your 360, you fucking sicko. Fuck off." So since then, there's been no more messages. I think I've finally got the point across. Stop fucking messaging me. You see, it's just honest to fuck. And this week, I mean, there's been no more attacks this week at all whatsoever, which has been a bonus. You know,
Yet.
there's been no more yet. You know, there's been no more assaults on my good name as such. You know, but give it time though, and we'll see what happens.
To be fair, it's just supplying content to the show anyway, so keep them coming.
That's what I think. That's just fabulous. I mean, that thing has sort of backfired on him because it is so funny. Your replies.
It's funny for you bastards, but it's not so much funny for me.
I suppose, yeah.
Well,
You know?
you don't really count.
Well, okay, I don't count.
Listen, boys, listen. See, on the subject of replied and whatnot,